December 28, 2013. We're looking at Earth-facing images from LASCO C2. Guys, on the 26th here, we had a large explosion. It was off the left side. It was a glancing blow. It was not a direct hit on Earth. But notice the debris that's illuminated in these giant flares. Look at the top right there. There's 5 rocks. Now, again, this is the 26th as we step it out. The 27th week was relatively calm compared to this. But what has happened today, we had another one from the other side of the sun. It's like we got a shot off the left side that missed Earth and off the right side. Now, this one is so intense that our satellites have picked it up. And some of the highest proton readings that you'll see from something that's not Earth facing, just to tell you how strong it is. Now look at the debris that's illuminated here, guys. That's got to do with what we're talking about going through the 9 o'clock of the galactic plane. Every 13,000 years of the 26,000 year cycle, the Earth travels through a debris field that's got to do with what you would call the ecliptic of the Milky Way solar system. So we're seeing that as well as what we're seeing here. See I-sun coming in and going out. They're talking about possibly in the next week some fallout from the upper debris field that's going over. So we know we're about to start to go through that debris field of that I-sun left coming in. And looking at the sun, it's getting active. We're getting some sunspots that are lining up Earth facing. Another thing that's important here, as you look at this, powerful flares, but there's filaments that are reaching up. There's 2 at the top. There's 1 between these 2 sunspots. And these are lining up. We've got 2 beta gamma systems, and I'll show you that before it's over with. But here in the top left, there's a filament, and just below it, in the darker area, is this purple. That's a coronal hole. That's intense heat. We don't need it this time of the year with the tilt of the Earth that it's at, because that makes the seasons more intense. So although it would be nice for everyone to be warm, what's happening is we're fighting the downflow from our Arctic vortex in the North Pole as it pushes that cold air against this heat. So look for storms on the Earth, guys, as this comes around. Now, the last one we saw was a triangle, but it was higher up on the sun in this area. That meant that it was more of it was going over Earth because of the curvature of the sun. As you get to the top, it's curving back. This one is not. This is going to be Earth facing, and look at the filament just in front of it, dead center now, between the 2 sunspots. And if one of these filaments touch a sunspot, you're going to see a whip-like CME come off. And it depends on which end of the filament hits the sunspot will depend on which end releases. That determines the direction. You understand? And it can make all the difference in the world. But we're setting up for some scenarios where we could get some strong CMEs. But guys, the one that you saw today on the 28th was very powerful. Our protons went out of sight on most of the satellites that are around Earth, and it did not come directly at us. Again, we've had a left warning shot on the 26th, and today to the right. This is our solar disk as we're seeing it. You can't see that coronal hole here, but here's what we got. You've got 1934 and 1936, guys. In the center, the 2 bright ones are both beta gamma. Again, you need it beta gamma alpha, but they are growing, and they're concerned about this one coming in on the left. But that coronal hole worries me as much as any of it. Now, again, you see it was not a strong flare picked up by the GOES X-ray as far as Earth facing, but it was a tremendous proton event. Look at this. That's a sudden spike, and I'll show you on the X-ray flux here, guys. I mean the proton flux out of Boulder. It's coming in from the GOES 13 satellites. Look at that peak. It's hard to move this chart. What you're seeing on the 27th, the red peak, is the one that blasted us on the 26th. You see that to the left side? As it dipped back down, but see the sudden spike? Now, in the center of this, and the dot, and the white circle is Earth. The side to the right is sun facing, the white side. What you're seeing is our magnetopause. That's our electric. These are our shields. I put this yellow line across it to give a reference point. But this is as the flare. Notice the timestamp 28 as that flare comes in. Watch this, guys, as it goes past. And you can think of this in a way as a giant water balloon if you think about the compression on the tectonic plates on Earth. Now, they're saying that we're going to be in an S1 storm because it was not Earth facing. We should see some good auroras and some, they were talking about some minor radiation, some minor high frequency disturbance, but no damage to the satellites because, again, it was not Earth facing. We're lucky. But here's the reports, the last ones that have come in. Notice in the UK here, Yorkshire, England. And the one said Yorkshire, one is north. Again, from the UK, on the top it's the 29th. That's because it's UTC time. But Gary Garland, New York Shore, at 15:30, and then Clara East in Yorkshire at 15:40. If their clocks are right, they're 10 minutes apart. But it went out over the ocean. That means it was moving west. Now, and that matches the pattern of the debris field. Also, notice that this was last night, guys, in Ohio, Cincinnati, and Cape Coral, Florida, at exactly the same time. Multiple fireballs were reported. 3 in a row from Cape Coral, Florida, and then in Cincinnati, they saw 1, then a few moments later 3. But the reports are at the same time, probably going down over the East Coast. But it's an update on this, guys. We're getting into a lot of debris, and we're going to watch it as we get closer. If we get the right weather, I'm going to set up 2 cameras, both facing north, one northeast, one southwest, and try to track some of this stuff and see what we get. And then I can take it in and do it in. I'll do it in 1080 and try to get the best images we can. Anybody else gets some images, you can report here at the Lunar Meteorite Society or at the AMS, and I'll link both of those. Or you can send the pictures over and link them from your site to our comment section. So heads up, guys, be safe.